meeting. We do have, so we already have an executive on. We need to add one more for personnel. We also need to amend the agenda to add Renaissance Fair and Liquor Board. Anything else from anyone?
Motion to accept agenda as amended.
Second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anything on the board minutes of May 21st? I read through them, but I wasn't here, so I can't. I don't, if there's anything wrong, I won't know.
They were good.
Okay.
They were good.
Okay. Town manager's report.
Oh, you skipped liquor board.
Oh, I was put that at the end.
No, accepting
minutes.
liquor board minutes.
Oh, I meant meeting min. I said meeting minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
That encompassed both.
Okay. I attended the Planning Commission's May meeting. They finished the first round of subdivision bylaws. This is going to be further modified as they start doing the zoning regulations at their next meeting on June 26th. They're starting at 6:30 instead of 7 to give an extra half hour. Logan Solomon's been coming. And the Planning Commission's supposed to be getting Logan any changes they would like to see in zoning regulations before the next meeting so that we can start with page 1 and get as far as we possibly can with zoning regs.
Would that be the map we looked at last time?
No, this is the Planning Commission's zoning regulations, not regional. This is Town Planning Commission, sorry. A big thank you to Ann Pelkey and Bill Hempel for a successful and beautiful Memorial Day parade and ceremony. The weather was actually perfect for it. Judy Frazier, Marianne Goulet, Stephanie Burke, and I met about the Tri-Town Trail and some right-of-way snags that we've encountered. We're going to be bringing the 4 plans to our respective select boards in the near future. They're thinking probably by the end of July-ish. And there's going to be one more public engagement meeting after that. Sean and I have started doing more of the Omnia training for the new water meters we're installing. They're also working on being able to download the information into NEMRIC so I don't have to hand type all of the usages every time we do billing. Sean and I attended an RCAP training on sustainable utility management for water and wastewater departments, and we discussed the 10 key management areas and how Pittsford's water and wastewater departments rank and rate in each of these 10 key areas. Sean and I left there feeling much more comfortable where we were versus some other towns and smaller systems that were there. It was interesting to see everybody's perspective, though. Been working with department heads to go over their budget status as we are very close to the end of the fiscal year. We've also sent stuff to our auditors for preliminary already. They've asked for it early this year. We got it to them on Monday so that we can set the audit date as soon as possible.
Was that where all the departments pretty much on
We're
track?
pretty much on track on target. Water and wastewater actually look like they might both be in the black and not in the red this year.
Oh, that's exciting.
By the looks, when we do their billing in June, it's actually looking pretty positive for both of them, which is good considering we have Plains Road and everything still that we're tackling.
Yeah.
I attended the TAC meeting on May 29th. Each town discussed what they have going on in their community for transportation-related projects, and we heard about Rutland City's transit-oriented development plan. Talked with Ethan Pepin at Regional Planning Commission on whether we could use a small-scale bike ped grant for the rapid flashing lights at Kamuta's. It may be an option for us if we want to hold off a little longer for the grant approval before we purchase them. It's a 50-50 match grant with in-kind labor as part of the town's 50% match. Those are due July 15th. Talked with Ian from VTrans about the no parking along Route 7 between Elm and Depot Hill Roads. He's talking to an incident specialist within VTrans, and then will be reaching back out to me. I noted with him the concerns about parking and everything between the library, Kamuta's, post office, Hilltop, and with Pittsford Village Farms expansion, that parking is going to be a massive issue all the way around that curve, so he wanted to talk to one of the incident specialists that's for this area and get their point of view. Chad, Sean, and I sat down to figure out the Plains Road paving project for timing and financing, and we have contacted Wilkes to schedule the milling of the road to make it easier so that we can keep it graded and keep it with chloride so that the dust isn't an issue. It did have chloride put down yesterday, so the dust has been better controlled. I've met with Tom Rakowski on the Plains Road project. We are actually going to be doing a walkthrough on Friday with them for the final punch list. Sean, Chad, and I will all be there for that meeting. We have received payments for the COPS grant for the last 2 quarters of 2024 and the first quarter of 2025. We also received a letter saying that we're getting COPS grant audit done on June 24th. So we'll be dealing with that. And our police department participated in a multi-town highway safety initiative for Buckle Up Weeks in May. That's why you saw other towns here in Pittsford patrolling and why you saw Pittsford in Mount Holly and other towns patrolling. It was a joint effort of departments. I did have people reaching out to me to find out why our police officers were not in town. I attended with Chad today the Municipal Roads Grant Program and Road Erosion Inventory Training at Regional Planning Commission put on by VTrans. It explained the GIS mapping and how to put in all of your road inventory segments and about the municipal grants and the different paperwork you have to do, that kind of thing. Our grader is back, finally.
Woohoo! I saw it working.
It was working. It's got,
Year, right?
It was
8
9
months?
months. 9 months.
Whatever.
And I think that's all I have for my town manager's report.
Thanks for getting the flashing lights at Kamuta's backing up and running, because, I mean, people ask me about that all the time. I'm sure we all hear about it, and we were all led to believe that not under your
So
purview that things were heading, so.
now Ethan right now is at Regional Planning Commission is helping to draw up the sketches that we need.
Yep.
Because I am not very good with graphic art on a computer and a picture and adding text and that kind of thing. So he's helping with that to make sure that we meet the requirements for the 1111 permit.
All right, good. Yeah, that's probably one of the busier cross
And that was-
areas, and it's a really dangerous area.
And I did mention that when I was talking with Ian from VTrans as well, how that intersection and with the crosswalk and how dangerous it can be and that kind of thing.
Any questions for Ann? Any select board member remarks?
The only thing I've got is, I thought last year by the old town office, that stretch of grass, which is no longer grass, is growing back up again. I saw it the other day. Are we gonna take care of that and turn that back into grass? It was supposed to be done last year. This is the 4th time I'm bringing it up.
I
and
will
I'm getting
a-
sick of bringing it up.
I will ask about it. I know that Chad was supposed to go meet with the homeowner about it.
That's in the right of way, and it's a dangerous spot. Little kids cross right there.
I know.
You can't even see them. I mean, it's time it's dug out and put topsoil in there and put it back to grass. But if we have to do it, I think we should do it.
It is.
Well, it's-
Yeah.
Yeah, we maintain the sidewalks, and that's, we
And the
should be
person that used to
maintaining
maintain those gardens is no
She's
longer
deceased, no
alive.
longer there, and
So,
there's old chairs in there, there was.
so it's really, yeah,
Yeah.
and it does. I
And I
mean,
hope
sometimes
this
you
is
have
the
to walk
last time I have
sideways
to
to
bring
get
it up.
through there on the sidewalk. It's pretty,
Yeah, I
pretty
think we should
overgrown.
handle it.
Yeah.
Not wait any longer.
We got a little round up.
That's my only comment.
No, yeah. No, that is important. All right, any public
Recording in
comments?
progress.
About that?
About anything, public unless if it's not on the agenda, if you have a public
That's
comment.
Pam.
We're on the agenda for Fire Hill, right?
You are, yes.
Pam Jackson,
Hi.
and I live down here on 313, and I've been involved with all of the paving, all of the sewer,
Yep.
and I am concerned about my driveway that's a year and a half old, and I just got an estimate, there's $3,300 worth of damage due to my driveway. The driveway was fractured, well, I have pictures, who would like the picture?
Sure, yeah.
Bring him up.
Where do I give them you, Tom?
Give him Dan. We're on the
Tom and I lived next door to each other for years, so.
Yeah, I know.
Now,
Purple heart, baby.
We're not responsible.
Also, your blacktop was new?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And I voiced my opinion with the town manager before they started this project. And I was told that it was going to be put back the way it was. So we took pictures before they started. And now we have water. After Saturday's rainstorm, there's pictures there of the water that's in our driveway.
That would be Mr. Atherton?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry?
David
That'd be
Atherton,
the
the
town
town
manager.
engineer.
That's correct. And I just would like to know who's responsible to put that back the way it was.
Probably the contractor or the town.
We didn't raise the elevation of the road there, correct?
We had a swale in front, or on the side of our driveway they leveled the ground, so there's no longer a swale there.
Just trying to get an idea.
When they
of what-
lifted up, they didn't cut the end of the driveway, they lifted it up. There's a picture of it there. They should have cut it, sort of, which we were told by the guy they installed, did the driveway. So it was, we were told it was done incorrectly. Should have been cut, not lifted with a bucket.
Oh, they lifted
I
it
don't
from
know how they can
Yes.
make the sidewalks.
I don't think they saw cut it, Dan.
sounded.
It's all jagged.
And do you have, I haven't seen it.
I think some water would accumulate there
It
anyway.
is. It
Do you
is.
mind if I?
Wonder if it used to go this way.
Everything you could keep.
I don't know,
I don't know
I'm
if this-
assuming this is
that's-
downhill.
The driveway is 1.5 years old.
send that picture back with the water.
$10,000 to do that driveway. And I came up here and I said, that's a brand new driveway. And I was assured,
I don't need that.
No, they
I just-
don't.
Oh, damn it.
should have had it in writing. I
Well, with the
guess.
fans going, I can't hear anything.
So this is,
guessing it used to go down
I
this
called Tom
way.
the other day. This is like deja vu for us because 11 years ago, when the water line was put in, we haven't had water pressure in 11 years.
Right.
I don't know if you're aware of
I
that.
was aware of it, but I believe they took care of it.
They did, but
That's a low
11
point anyway.
years.
Right.
It took them
It's
to
gotta
find
be
the
a cut
problem.
right there,
Yeah.
right?
I came
That's
up
the
to pay the
swale I
water
think
bill
she's
and I
talking
say, I'm paying the second protest.
Could be.
And it
Big
must
Sean
have
has
been,
been wonderful.
it was a swale.
What's a swale? Is it
But there was
just
some
a
It's
little
serious
a
problems
ditch.
down
A
there.
ditch.
that, like,
See how
four
this,
things were
see
wrong.
it's here?
And I don't want to
Basically
go through
channels
this
the
again.
water away
Oh, I
so
The
see.
sewer part of it. I know it all needs to be done, and I'm for that. I love this town. Tom can contest. 40 years ago, we moved here.
Right.
My husband was active in the fire department and the Boy Scouts. Very supportive to the town, and
No, I just wanted to know if it was in there because I'm gonna take it with me to the
Where,
meeting.
yeah, you have to go look at it, see where
Yeah,
it's
I
supposed
think
to
we
drain.
gotta- I think we gotta take a look at it.
personally, whoever's gonna pave this road or whatever, I don't want to touch my driveway. Because I don't believe it'll be done the way the company did our driveway originally.
Driveway contract.
That's our want. We don't want anybody else touching it. He says it's fractured, the driveway's fractured.
So where's,
So he's gotta cut it back, and, because he says we'll have to have a new driveway between.
where's it fractured in the picture, ma'am? I'm just trying to figure out, is there
Oh,
a
I-
fracture point? I see a crack along the apron, but I don't see a fracture.
What if we schedule time?
Yeah, I think we should take a look at it.
Yeah, you're welcome to,
Let's,
come down.
let's take a look at it rather than try to look at this, because I
Yeah.
can't get it. Yeah.
So your paperwork with
Weatherby,
Witherby,
that's the original,
that was when they paved the driveway?
yes, yes, and that's today's estimate.
Let's go take a look before we get ready.
Yeah.
All right, so this is
I'm wondering if we could.
when it was new.
Yeah.
That's why we aren't
Yeah.
seeing
We
it.
will, especially, so we
This-
can't really
my guess
discuss
is
it
it's probably
further anyways,
broken
because it's
back
not on
in
the
through
agenda,
here.
but we
Sure.
appreciate the
Because they
information, and so
popped it
we
off.
will,
Yeah.
Put
we'll
on the next
schedule a
one,
time
too.
to go look into it,
Yep.
and follow up with you, and we can, have it on the next agenda for the next
Thank you very
meeting.
much for your time.
Yeah.
Again, I love the town. I don't want to be a squeaky wheel.
No,
but-
it's fine, I mean,
Well,
We'll go take a look.
Sometimes you gotta be a squeaky
Yeah.
wheel.
if you're,
And so while I'm here, if you don't mind, I know this is not,
yeah, go ahead.
the speed on this road is terrible. You would think
Even with the,
with the
Even with the
potholes
traffic
and all
bumps,
of that,
it is.
it is terrible.
all right,
So Something needs to be
Typically
done
up to
about
40 miles an hour all the way to the bridge you're working on.
Well, you've got a person here who can
that. Oh, we
relay
might-
that
I've already
message.
been sitting up here, so
Have you
We're,
caught
we're
anybody?
on it.
not yet. Cause they'll seem to want to slow down when they see the black car sitting on the side of the road.
Park behind my
At a
car.
height.
in the parking lot.
We're on it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you. All right, you get,
I
Leanne's
give
got all
that.
that stuff, okay.
Yep.
Before the next meeting or something.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah, so do we wanna do that right before the next meeting, just meet down there?
Yeah, let's do that. That would probably be
schedule a
the
half an
best.
hour ahead.
So, yeah, so Ann,
So
if you could put
Ann,
this on
yeah.
the next agenda.
Yep, I already have it written down to put on the next agenda.
Jackson.
But also, if we all meet down there, it'll be a meeting,
Yep.
so you'll have to warn it.
At 6 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll just start
We'll
at
just
6
meet there
there.
at 6 o'clock.
All right,
I'm
We'll
gonna
come
warn
here.
a site
I'll meet
visit.
you down there because I'll have to have a precursor to the meeting.
Perfect.
Or we
Okay.
can note.
All right, no other public comments. You guys are on the agenda.
Mapping.
So, all right, old business, the RRPC mapping.
I think we should file for an extension.
Yeah, I thought there wasn't, isn't there, what's the time frame on that?
So it's 3 weeks, which is June 12th, but if we want more than that, I have to, so on your tables tonight, you had a email conversation back and forth with Logan and I, because I studied the map as it is up here, and they don't have a lot of our water area in a village growth area, and according to Act 181, if you have water and you have soils that can handle septic systems, that's supposed to be able to be in a growth area. So I emailed Logan and told him, I don't know who to start with this, so I'm going to start with you, and you can pass the buck if you need to. But, you know, we have Cornhill, Orchard Hill, Route 3, and we have further on 7 South and 7 North than what's in that map right now. Is there any way to expand that growth area to include that? I understand those that are on like West Creek Road and that kind of thing, where we have water, we may not be able to have as a growth area because of it being more rural out there or whatever. And he said that he wasn't aware exactly where our water boundaries were or whatever. And he's willing to look at it. And he said that if you look at his email, I don't want to get the wording wrong. He said, we encourage you to identify all areas currently served by municipal water and or sewer and submit a request to have them considered as either village area or planned growth area. We will then assess each area for compliance with statutory requirements. Additionally, upon further review of state law, it appears that the transition infill area shown on the draft map may qualify as a village area and be eligible for an Act 250 exemption even without any changes to the town plan or zoning. If that's of interest, please include it in your map revision request. For any other locations surrounding the village and not currently served by water and sewer, we're happy to evaluate their eligibility for village area designation, although inclusion is less likely.
I think we should put in for any of our commercial frontage. So everything on Route 7, everything on Route 3 should be considered growth area. It's commercially zoned right now. And that encompasses all the way on Route 7, right from Rutland all the way to Brandon.
Brandon Loring.
That's how it's changing. Route 3 as well. It's already zoned that way. I think it needs to be included in the map, Ann. That would be my suggestion for my first look at this since I got the packet. I think there's some other areas here that aren't properly blocked. The more I look at the colors, they don't coordinate. I think they're just swagging it. They're looking at a parcel that's got partial, and I can look at our farm. The mountain is in the program, the rest of it isn't. It's all commercial frontage. This shouldn't be blocked off as rural. So there's things here and there's other ones along the way. So I would recommend that we petition for all of our commercial frontage to be included in a growth area, even if water doesn't reach it. It's commercial.
So what about like Cornhill and Orchard Hill?
Well, Route 3, they're on the water line, right?
They're on the water line, but they're part of Cornhill.
Wherever the
So
water
Route,
line is.
Route
golf
3,
course.
Route 3 is only as far as like Matt Hart's houses and stuff. It doesn't go very far down Route 3.
Commercial zoning?
No, the water.
No, the
No,
water.
I'm worried about the commercial zoning. 3's all commercial on each side. That should be considered growth. So should 7 where it's block commercial. That's why it's zone commercial. So that would be my suggestion.
I think we should get a definition of a planned growth area. The way I understood it the other night, he was talking about residential and trying to get into the designation where within the growth area they could develop a residential without going through Act 250.
Yep.
So if that's
That's why I'm asking if we want to include Corn Hill and Orchard Hill, which are on town water, which is one of the stipulations for part of the growth area. You know, we have water south on Route 7 quite a ways. North, it's almost to Kendall Hill. It's at where JR's used to be, is the water and some sewer there. But, you know, so we can only probably expand that to, let's say, Kendall Hill. And in south, we have quite a ways we can.
No, we should be able to expend right past Kendall Hill all the way to Brandon. That's all commercially zoned up there.
But we don't have town water.
Doesn't matter. It's commercially zoned. I think we should request it because
I think
it
Jeff
is commercially
Yeah, I
zoned.
know. Greg, we'll get to you in just a second. I just want to. Hey, Jeff.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Can you folks hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have a hand or raise hand button on this, so I was used to using that. Two things that might be important with regards to the commercial zone. Pittsford is somewhat unique, and it has been for some time, but the topic you're talking about makes it perhaps especially important, and that is the zoning regulations allow a property owner to expand his commercial zone further than 600 feet from the center line,
Correct.
all the way back to his back line if he should so request. That makes a huge expansion to the development area in this case. And I'm sure
Good point,
regional
Jeff.
planning hasn't picked that up. It really is a relatively rare zoning. But if you look at the decision, if you look at the definition of the commercial zone, it's a couple of sentences, I think, very impactful.
Thank you.
And another thing is that along Route 3, there is one break in the commercial zoning district, and it's down by Stevens Road. It's north of Stevens Road. It's in the area around Dan's Place and all of those subdivisions down
Let
there.
me turn these
But
off.
Route 7 is pretty much unbroken all the way up.
Yes, it is.
Turn him up.
Can you turn him up?
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's better.
I'm rarely mentioned as being quiet, so.
Well, it's getting late.
So again, I'm trying to find here the specific language that addresses the commercial zone. And I got it. So, it's in on page 6 of the zoning regulations. It is section 201D.
What's this green?
Areas approximate to the primary transportation routes,
Conservation, right?
currently likely to be areas of
this is all
commercial
fucked
growth.
up. Yeah. It is.
Lots
We need a
or
lot of
portion
time
of
on
which
this.
lie within 600 feet of the center line of Route 7,
Special meeting.
which are in an area designated as commercial, and which have a minimum of 200 feet of frontage on Route 7, or a minimum of 200 foot wide access strip to Route 7, and whose depth extends more than 600 feet from the center line to Route 7, are allowed to have the commercial district designation extended to the rear of the property line, or to a conservation district, whichever is closer to Route 7. That's huge here if you're looking at potential development area.
There it is.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, so
we do, go ahead.
I would like to make a suggestion because Mark has noticed
Yeah.
a lot of this makes no sense whatsoever. I think we need to have a special meeting. We come in here, this is the only thing we work on. Bring computers so you can actually blow it up and see what they're talking about before we agree to any of this.
I think that's a good idea.
Because I'm not going to agree to this. Now, unless it's something completely different than what I'm seeing.
Okay.
I don't know how they're getting what they're getting.
What's the next meeting? What's the date of the next,
18th.
thank you.
Do you want to do next
Have to
week?
do it next week.
Next week, the 11th.
That would work.
Let's do it on, yeah, as much as I don't want to, we've got to.
Yep.
Are you gonna need me for that one? Do you need me for that one? You can zoom in.
If
I think we could take any notes if we
Yeah.
had
can't
to.
do it, I can do
Yeah, because I
minutes.
mean,
I
we'll
can do
just,
it. That's the night that I'm home.
we'll be going through it, making our findings. We're gonna write down our points, so I don't think we need you.
Well, if it's warned, I have to.
You have to.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it's warned.
Well,
And
it'll
I
have
can
to be
just
warned, 'cause it'll be
I
all-
can do it as
probably
like we did
ours.
with the town manager interviews. I can just make bullet points of areas of concern.
You guys have the ability to copy those on a PDF and that size? If you don't, I do have access to something like that. You gave me a PDF, you print your 10 maps.
That size?
Oh, really?
I have a printer at home that can do it.
I know, because this is, I can't see.
You can't see anything.
I can barely read the road.
I
can't-
have
you can't- yeah.
a extra wide so that I could print blueprints for Rick's company.
Yeah.
I have
Like
the
a
big-
surveyor printer.
Surveyor printer, yeah.
Yeah, if we can get some bigger ones before the next, for the special meeting, that'd be awesome.
That would be, and then he
Thank
said,
the board that with the town owns one. There's a
Thank-
brand new one sitting in the clerk's office.
Thank you for the offer.
so, and he did
Thank you for the
say
offer.
that if we
Thanks, Greg.
blow these up on a computer, there's a lot more detail too.
There
Okay.
is.
I haven't had time
So-
to do that.
Next meeting, I can pull it up on here and we can share it on the TV screen, so
That would be
we
nice.
can see it and we can actually zoom in and it actually shows like the different parcels.
But anything big we can play with too would be great.
Right,
So,
yeah. So,
I gotta have it in my
Who's
hand.
been attending the planning commission meetings when they're talking about
I won't be
the
here.
new zoning?
Won't be in New York.
Is regional reconciling this map to the Pittsford zoning map?
The Pittsford zoning regulations. And Pittsford zoning regulations right now are under review and Logan knows that because he's working with them. So there's a lot of shifting parts right now.
I mean, we don't
There's
have
no
the Pittsford map here, but this doesn't seem to resemble
No.
the Pittsford zoning map.
No.
oh, no.
We gotta
not
watch out
even
for Rutland
remotely.
shifts.
Yeah.
So that means this doesn't either then?
No.
That's
No.
that.
I mean, it's the same, that's the
Same
same
thing.
thing, just large.
Yeah.
Big.
It does not, no.
And this, so this is regionals based on the Act 181, which Pittsford zoning is not relevant with 181 yet. They're still working on doing to make it in compliance with 181 and some other act.
But these maps hold a lot of weight.
Yes, they do.
So this
And if
map
someone-
needs to be correct.
Yes.
Right.
It's gotta reflect the town map. If somebody wants to do a substantial development, if it's residential, commercial, or industrial even,
Yeah.
you've gotta apply to the town, looking at one map, and then you've gotta go through Act 250, which is gonna
Go to that map.
drop to the regional map.
Right.
All right, so yeah, so we'll spend a whole meeting just, is there anything else we want to ask Ann to have ready for that meeting?
Could Ann email
Logan?
this guy, Logan, and let him know we are doing this and that the map isn't anywhere near what we think it should be. So we're gonna work on it next week.
Is Pittsford zoning map on the website in color?
Yes.
Is it
Must
in
be.
color?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
And just to finish, Ann, could you let him know we may not have it done by the date he wants it?
I'm
We
gonna
may-
ask for an
Yeah.
extension, which
Okay.
would be the 5 weeks. So that would be 2 weeks after our meeting, so next week. So
Perfecto.
if we need
Just
to add
have it
it
in
to the
writing.
agenda the 18th to solidify everything before, we'll meet the
Let him know
11th,
we're gonna need,
18th.
Yep, okay.
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 If it interests the board, you're in good company with all the other towns that I deal with.
Well,
Oh,
thank
yeah?
you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
sure.
glad, because this is,
All right, let's, we'll move on.
The question I had,
Oh, sorry.
it's okay. You
The
talked
heat
about-
is getting to me.
You talked about West Creek as being buildable, let's say, is the word. West Creek Road is a swamp until you get to the end of it up past the farm. So you're talking about that area up there? I mean,
I'm
West
not
Creek
sure what you're
Road typically,
referring to. Was
it's not
this-
underwater, but it's real close. The
Yeah.
land around West Creek Road is usually underwater when the floods come.
On
So,
the east
no,
side.
Yeah,
we're not talking, so I told him where our water districts are, and that's what he's saying. It has to be looked at further, but he didn't realize there was water on that side. So that's
Regionals
what has to be.
targeting growth areas
Right.
and having municipal water is one of the things that they require.
Well, yeah.
Right,
for growth areas.
Yeah.
And some of those growth areas can be designated, I forget what the classification is, where they, if they're designated correctly in our town zoning, they don't have to go through Act 250.
So we want to
I
make sure
remember
it's
that
right.
in the last meeting.
Yep. Great.
All right. Okay. Well, Fire Hill concerns.
Well, I'm gonna have to
Could-
ask Mr. Bayuzi to get on and tell us what he's done.
Well, let's have a report from our guys first,
Okay,
and then
there you
we'll
go.
then we're not going to pepper them until they let us know where we are.
I know.
Okay, well, I submitted a report to the select board at the last meeting. Did you folks receive and digest that?
Yes.
we read it at the last meeting, Jeff.
Well, that's where we are.
I didn't see that.
We read it at the last meeting.
And that tells what he's done?
Do you have it with you, Jeff?
I do.
Could you read it again?
Okay.
Or go through it at least.
I'll go through
All
it.
right. Okay, so I'll read, it's one full page. I'll read the contents. Okay, it was dated it was dated May 19th for your last select board consideration. Dear select board, you are likely aware of the 3 chronic junk problem properties belonging to Wayne Forrest Sr., parcel number 1075, Wayne Forrest III, parcel number 0839, and Ashley Forrest, parcel 0252. My own history with these owners started when I first took this assignment because it was a pre-existing situation. In the first quarter of 2024, the rat complaints from Fire Hill residents caused all 3 properties to be visited by the town manager, the health officer, and myself. And that's been the most recent update. The select board authorized the ZA to issue formal violations on all. There were outstanding violations already. Only Wayne Arnie Forrest Sr. responded and made an attempt to clean up his road frontage. Dave Atherton contacted Wayne Forrest III and Ashley Forrest several times during the summer, and I wasn't party to their conversation. But it sounded from Dave that there was going to be an effort, and in reality, there was a minimum effort to clean up. So I did a Fire Hill Road drive-by with Atherton on November 13th, 2024. Wayne Forrest had 7 junk vehicles and boats scattered in his yard. Nothing new, but still old junk. Ashley Forrest had 4 junk cars and 4 unregistered camper vehicles, some containing bags of undetermined materials. And Wayne Forrest III had 7 junk vehicles in his yard. He had added to his collection. So I issued new zoning violations to all 3 mid-December 2024. I did it per statute by U.S. certified mail with return receipt, and I also sent by regular U.S. mail. Wayne Forrest Sr. contacted the town manager, left me a voicemail, and saying he would start cleanup as weather permitted. This was the beginning of winter. Neither Ashley Forrest or Wayne Forrest replied. Their unanswered certified letters were returned to the town 3 months later. The regular letters were not returned, which indicates they were delivered but ignored. So that is, by the way, something I picked up from recent VLCT training, and a training session that was held down that had a guest speaker on the Paulette military camp situation that they've pretty much gone through now. And so the attorney sent regular letters as well. They must have received the regular letters, whether they opened them or whatever, who knows, but they didn't get returned, which is indicative apparently to the court now as being delivered. The three letters were returned. So it's my opinion now that any resolution of this situation, per what the town attorney has usually recommended in the past, is that we issue fresh notices of violation and serve them in person with law enforcement. Back in December, there was some question about the whereabouts of Ashley Forrest. I now have a pretty good understanding where she might be. Wayne Forrest III moved out of Pittsford last year, but his primary residence is known in Brandon. And we all know where Mr. Forrest Sr. is. So it's unlikely that properties will be cleaned up or owners appeal to the ZBA. Based on past failures to comply, no further cleanup agreements should be granted. The matter should be referred to the town attorney once the notices have been served for immediate enforcement action. And you can check with the town attorney, but I think this is the only recourse that the town has for enforcement under 17 VSA Chapter 117. And respectfully, Jeff Beisers.
Anything you want to add to that, Jeff?
No, I mean, there isn't a lot of options here. We tried initially to use the ticket option as a way to shortcut the environmental court approach. That was really kind of a frustrating and dismal failure. The court didn't even address the ticket until 6 months after it was sent to the judicial court. And the court officer had a hearing on December in a snow day. The court had lost the photos I sent. They had poor records. The court judge wasted 15 minutes before we could finally start the hearing. And the average hearing in judicial court is 6 minutes. They do something like 90,000 hearings a year down in the Brattleboro Judicial Court. And they don't like municipal hearings. The judge said this in a VLCT public information session one time because it screws up their whole schedule.
Maybe he should get a new job.
That is essentially what happened. That the judge asked me to prove that these vehicles sitting in Wayne Forrest's 3 yard were in fact his vehicles. How are we going to do that? They're all junk vehicles, and probably he doesn't have title to any of them. He just bought them off the street. I don't know, but we didn't have them, and so they threw the ticket out of court.
Need a new judge.
Yeah.
All right, so can I make a comment? I presume I'm as sick of this as everybody else is. We keep messing around with 3 of them, okay? Can we pick one and do something with it? We've got one. How long, Jeff, has Ashley's property been abandoned?
Yeah.
I would say probably approaching most of a year now. I don't know exactly if it has something to do with their infrastructure.
Doesn't matter. All I wanted was a date. Okay, so we got an abandoned property for a year. Does she own?
Yeah, let him speak.
Does she own the land under that mess?
I believe she does.
Yes.
She does.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, do we know if there's anything legally we can do as a town to clean up abandoned property?
Or take
I
it.
do not know. It's a good question.
Okay, you don't know. Okay. So where I'm going with this is possibly if we make an example out of one of them, maybe the others will at least attempt to clean up a little bit and get us somewhere. What's been happening since, God, forever. Is we keep writing tickets. Nobody does anything. Okay? And we're going to keep writing tickets, and nobody's going to do anything. So we need to pick one and deal with it. The fact she hasn't been there for a year, I would say she clearly probably isn't coming back. So is there something that we can do? Is there something we can do to clean that up legally? I don't know if there is. I'm just throwing that out. Let's put our effort all into one, then we'll move on to the next one.
Okay, I took a little tour a couple days ago. and Ashley, and I assume it was her boyfriend, were sitting in the car in front of that trailer. And they mowed a lawn through the stuff to the front door of the trailer. I don't think the trailer's accessible, but they're gonna show that they have been there. And I won't talk about the look I got when I drove by.
Well, the
But-
question is if they're current on their taxes.
I think they have a tax plan,
I think
do
they
they
are,
not?
right?
So, 2 out of the 3 are paid now. The other one, which is Ashley, does have a repayment plan and she has been paying it. She is not eligible for tax sale at this point because she has paid off her 23, 24 taxes. The only ones that are due are 24, 25. I did talk to Gary about this. Can I talk about what I talked to Gary about?
Sure.
So I talked to Gary about the situation, and Gary asked me to ask Jeff, which I did do, to send all of the correspondence he has sent to all 3 properties on Fire Hill, and then he was going to take a look at it. I haven't heard back. I don't know if Jeff has sent him everything yet or not, but I did ask him, I believe last week, to do that, and then Gary was going to take a look at it and see what legal actions we could pursue on all 3.
If Gary was the one who was supposed to request that, I haven't seen that request. And
Yeah,
I asked him to send it.
These notices that have been sent, has Chief Warfel hand-delivered any of these?
Well, in December, I asked Dave Atherton to send them, have them served.
He has a couple of them, I
I don't
think.
believe so.
The one
It
that's
was Friday.
occupied. As
I
far as
think that's
know.
something
I
that
don't know the story.
we should look into, is having these notices delivered
Yeah,
by Chief Warfel or somebody in the department.
yeah.
So then we've got a record if they've actually seen this or not.
Yeah.
So they can't take that route. Now, the other thing is the vehicles and trash in the front of the trailer are definitely in the town's right of way. They're in the road.
Some of them are. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, I don't want the town to end up paying to remove that stuff again, but.
It did one time, several years
I
ago.
remember, yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
But in the last 10 days, I've talked to a number of neighbors. Some of them were included in, when we went through this last year, some of them weren't. There are a lot of neighbors out there that are not happy with this situation.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know exactly what teeth we have. Wasn't there a letter here? Did you have someone go look at it, Rich?
Yes.
The animals, yes.
Yes.
The horses, yeah, that's.
I just read the thing over.
Yeah, we need to.
We need.
Can we back up? Because Ann brought up a point. I want to clarify this before Dan's comments. Ann just said that she requested you to send that material to Gary last week. Did you get that request from Ann, Jeff?
I haven't seen it, but.
Verbal. It was verbal in the hallway.
Oh, well,
I
then
said,
I'm
hey,
sorry, I
Jeff.
didn't- the answer is I have not followed up on it yet.
All right, we will have it written,
Send an
Jeff,
email. A
today,
written-
and we'd like you to send that to Gary.
Question.
Yes.
Do you serve somebody a warrant or a bill or whatever at their place of employment with a police officer?
I don't think so.
Because Artie
you can
Jr.
read.
works at,
I don't know the answer to that, Rich.
Don't think you can.
I don't think you
think
can
go
either.
to their
What about
place
the
of
court order?
employment. No.
We try to not bring in their place of employment, so
it's too late for that.
No, I think he's got a point. There's certain rules
There's
on
laws
doing
that
this,
go
Right.
with that.
Yeah.
and it usually
You
has
go
to be
do
at their
that, and
residence.
then we can't do
Yeah,
anything.
then,
Their residence, you can.
Right.
Yes.
I don't
And
think,
that's been a problem with Ashley, because when she vacated, she was kind of a vagrant in West Rutland. Now, I think we've located her recent and current place of stay. It's unconfirmed, but we think we know where she is.
All right.
given
So specifically, what are the violations of a town ordinance that are taking place?
Well,
Is it
the
just-
ordinance itself is very clear on that. It has to be to be statutory. And there's a first offense and a fine, a second offense and a fine, and then.
What is the
um,
statute, Jeff? What, is it the junk statute or?
Junk statute.
ordinance?
No, the current zoning ordinance does not have anything in it about open storage. And in that regard, I sent to regional planning and I sent copies to the planning commission members today on a cover-to-cover review of the current zoning regulations that I did last Sunday. And included in that is new language that addresses open storage. And it's not designed to replace the current junk ordinance. It's designed to be complementary and then more visible than the current junk ordinance.
There is an unregistered vehicle ordinance, though, correct?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
there is.
Well, the junk ordinance has a number of, it addresses the number allowed. It's basically 2, 3 or more trigger the ordinance, and that includes unregistered trailers and then campers and anything that's supposed to go on the road that doesn't have a current registration. So, by the way, the last time I did this with someone else, he sent in registrations. They were the $6 60-day registrations. So my suggestion, again, there's a few holes in that original junk ordinance that really only gives it lip service as to trash and garbage, which hampers rich. And then there's, it just says registration. But the state now has, you can send in $6 and get a temporary registration, and then the argument could be had, he's got a registered vehicle. Because, look, we don't have the time or resources to check every 60 days that he's got a registered vehicle. So I think the language should say at least 1 year registration.
Should we?
They should amend that to be registered and inspected.
Inspector,
Yeah,
yes.
so that's,
there you
we'll
go.
have
Yes,
to,
that would,
Because the
more teeth into
inspections,
it.
you don't even get a sticker for the license plate.
No.
Right.
so there's no
A
way.
lot
in
of these
knowing.
guys are putting a license plate that came out of the junkyard on
Yep.
a vehicle.
So you don't know
Well,
if it's
I
registered
don't
or
know if
not.
it's registered or not.
I don't argue with that, but, you know, it could be, and some towns do have that language. Let's face it, if you have a car that your daughter's off to college for 4 years, whatever, you're not gonna run the inspection until the car is in service. So, and we have complaints about people who have cars that are very collectible cars. They don't put them on the road, but they have them on their property. And
Does
they're
Rich
not
have
junk
anything
by
else to
any
add?
means,
I was gonna ask
Yeah.
him
but
right
they may not
after.
have a current inspection. So just food for thought.
Thank you, Jeff. Rich, do you have anything you'd like to add?
About the animals, I had a vet go look at the ones that are already senior. Says they're all fine. Granted, when I was back there, there's more junk cars that you can see
Right,
in the back of the property that you can't see from the roadway.
you can see them.
No,
After you
no.
go past this trailer, that's what I wanted to talk about. There's like 12 or 13 vehicles at Artie Junior's.
I'm not talking about already
I know.
senior.
Hey,
Greg,
Artie
let's
Senior.
let's let Rich finish
So-
let's stay on the
so-
topic of the animals first.
The animals, he says they're not, the only one that he had concern of was the white little pony that they need a farrier to come cut the,
Hoofs. Yeah.
and that's it. However, but looking around, he's like, they've got, technically, per what he said, the coverage to get in and out of weather and everything else. Fortunately, they've got the woods right there.
Yeah.
That's technically coverage that he said.
Yep.
So
It is.
check. We've done that.
That's
So, But the problem, like he says, the problem is that he's got the horses in with metal and everything else, and
Right.
that would be a concern. But he can't.
But there were no injuries.
Right, I know.
So,
I know the animal
Well,
thing is never going to be like a
No.
place that we're
He
gonna.
looked at
No,
them from
we-
the
Yeah, but
road,
we did it.
well, over the
No,
fence.
no. I walked right on Artie's senior's property. He went with me.
Okay.
I was in a uniform cruiser. I
Okay.
didn't dare to get near the house because of the dog that's right there. So, but I was able to walk around the property. There's no sense. There's no trespassing or anything. So I was able to check out the animals. So,
All right.
and I did, just to give you a heads up, I did go to the
Green
Rutland
Fern.
Humane Society. They're the ones that sent me to him.
Okay.
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 We've
Okay,
done that.
so
Thank you.
we've
very
done
much
that.
for
All
doing
right,
that.
thank you. All right, and we do understand, Greg, so there are more vehicles.
Way more vehicles than you have seen.
Okay.
And behind Senior's house, there's at least 7 more. He has 4 in his driveway down to his trailer. So that's 11 or more.
So it's like
Okay.
a junkyard now.
Yeah, that's.
It is.
Yeah.
We got to start enforcing
And-
those.
So if I might, and
Yes.
I'm going to pick on you a little bit, Jeff, and I think you deserve it. Because as a zoning administrator, you're supposed to respond effectively to concerns of us, your town people. Record keeping, field inspections, those are all part of your responsibility. Properties to evaluate compliance, summarize in writing to the board, if appropriate, take pictures, gives notice of violations, and initiates court action. That's your responsibility. And you haven't done it. When I came to the first meeting last month, the Board of Selectmen, I'm going to say, kind of cheaped out. That's the word I'll use. They said, we thought everything was fine and dandy because nobody's come to the meetings and complained. That's not our responsibility. We made an appointment. We came, we spoke, you heard, and nothing happened. Except for maybe I think you tested a septic field or something like that, and you looked at the animals. But as far as I'm concerned, big, fat, 0.
All right, thank you.
So-
We are,
I'm sorry, I get emotional because this has been too long.
okay.
I can respond to that.
Go ahead, Jeff.
And I understand your frustration. And it's not that there hasn't been any action taken. The last action taken was in December. You can't act until you get the notices of violation delivered. We didn't get the notices of violation delivered, and we didn't know that they weren't delivered until essentially April. And there is a limited amount of time and resources available, and in April you can't do anything to clean up anyway. So it is a frustrating process that has been going on for many years, as we've talked about. And I understand that. The board has to have the appetite to cover the legal expenses that these enforcement actions are going to have to involve. And I wish there was a quicker way to do it, but I don't know of it. I mean, I know of other ways to catch cooperation from certain property owners, but they don't involve these property owners. So, I mean, there are tools that are kind of creative and out of the box that somehow encourage people to come into compliance. But these particular parties that we're talking about tonight probably would not respond to those.
So can I ask again, if any of these notices were handled to the chief to be delivered? Do you remember?
I sent them to Atherton with a request to hand deliver them.
I'm sorry, Jeff, what?
I sent them to Atherton with a request to I handed them, put it in his mailbox, to hand deliver them.
I believe at least one set was, from what I recall, with Dave and Chief discussing things. I wasn't privy to everything, obviously, but I do know there was a handoff at one point. Please hand deliver these. I know Chief does talk to Artie now and then about different things happening on his property. So I'm assuming at least one set was hand delivered.
I can tell you what I remember, and I might be wrong, that these notices were to be, through David Atherton, to Chief, to be hand-delivered to all 3 of those properties.
And I know Chief did go to West Rutland to a property multiple times to try to hand over an envelope at one point, and I believe it was finally successful after about the 5th attempt. But that was last fall.
Does he record any of this, Chief?
Is Chief?
Well, I think he has to have a notice of service. And I could look at the file on that to
I don't
see if he's
think-
handed me a copy of that.
I don't think notice of
I
service.
don't know tonight offhand if that's been
I
the
don't
case.
know.
I don't think they were.
But
I haven't seen
the point
any.
is that these folks are not going to probably pay any attention to it until they're given a summons for environmental court, and this is going to be somewhat reminiscent of the recent and currently ongoing situation elsewhere north of town. So,
All right, let's, thank you, Jeff. So I think we should certainly look at the, continue to look at the, maybe closing some loopholes in our ordinance.
Could I make a motion that we take these 3 legal and get them to Gary and start the motion? I've got an appetite to get this done.
Okay, yeah. I agree. Do we have a second on that?
Yep.
Dan's second.
Oh, sorry. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 One last comment about my neighbor's house.
Briefly,
Has
yes.
7 pigs, whatever it is.
Yep.
His property, how's that? He has 7 pigs, and if you look from the road, you can see where all the drainage is going. All of it's going right out of the corner of his property, right into the creek that goes behind my house, that is absolutely pristine, all the way down to Fire Hill Road, and then it crosses. Now, I've not gone in the woods. I'm not going on his property. But that water's going to that brook.
So we're going legal with this. You're more than
Yeah.
welcome to write up everything you've got, and it can be submitted to our attorney. All right? And then we'll have it right there written. All right?
Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
All
I
right.
like that.
Okay, we're gonna leave that, this will be ongoing, but for now, we're gonna
You can drop it off to me.
move
I'll
it
scan
on.
and send it to you.
Can I put the record here for the people I've talked to who hesitate to speak? And part of it's because of veiled threats from some of these people. And they have families. And I've talked to Greg, and I've talked to a couple others to try to document some of this, or even document what they perceive as going on.
All right.
And so that's why they've hesitated to be in here.
All right, well, I guess you can ask them if they'd like to write anything up that we
I
can
did.
also send to
I
Gary
did.
here. Okay.
That's a great comment to
they
include.
can-
I've been threatened by him,
Okay.
right in the
So-
street, at my mailbox.
All right, well, we'll include
Dan,
this in the.
on another legal matter, people have been bringing it to me. I write anonymous on it, I scan it, I send it to Gary. Their name's not on it. So if they want
Okay.
to anonymously write up something, I don't even ask their name, they hand me something, I scan it, I send it to Gary.
And if you're dealing with a threat too, it should be given right to the chief and documented and handled. Don't take it all on yourself.
It hasn't been threats that I've handled, it's
If
just.
there is, I'm just saying, we're done with this issue, but if that happens, write it down, get it to the chief and document it. Thanks. All right.
All right, lifeguard pool hours.
Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for your patience.
Absolutely. It's not as bad in here right now, thankfully. Okay, so.
You're lying. You're lying.
Well, I haven't been talking, so give me 5 minutes and maybe I'm gonna,
That's right.
yeah.
excuse me, sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
Is it possible for me to sign off, or
You
do
may,
want me to
Jeff.
put
You may,
further
and thank-
questions for the board?
We're done, Jeff.
No,
See
we're
ya.
all set, but thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you being
Turn it on
here.
a lower setting so it's not as
Yeah.
noisy.
Thank you. Good night.
That one can go
See
back
ya.
on too.
Do you want me to turn that on?
I got it.
So last year, I had 10 lifeguards, give or take, maybe 10, 11, just because they were so scattered. And the swim area, was open 7 days a week, 12 to 6. And we scheduled the lifeguards. A lot of attendance, not a lot of attendance. The biggest attendance that I have at the rec area, swim area, are summer camps throughout the week, right? And I already have maybe the entire summer taken up. I only have 4 lifeguards this year. 4.
Okay.
Okay. So, this is my proposal. This is what I would like to do. I would like to have the lifeguards Monday through Friday during the times at the summer camps, because summer camps cannot come onto the rec and swim if there's no lifeguard, unless they bring their lifeguards.
Yep.
Right? So what I think we should do is have the lifeguards at the swim area Monday through Friday, Okay, and then have the swim area. We can adjust the hours, just because I think that honestly 6 o'clock is a little too early for me. I think it should be a little later, because I know that I my kid is 19, but I know that when I had a young kid, have dinner, nice evening, let's go out swimming. So I'd like to adjust the hours, and then have the weekends no lifeguard, and have the swim at your own risk signage. It's there today. I did it today because it was almost 90 degrees, and when I left the rec area, I was at the rec area from like 8 to 4:30 because we had like 3 camps there. The swim area was full. There was like probably 8 to 10 people just hanging out and swimming. And it was free today. So I'd like to have lifeguards Monday through Friday. Before lifeguards come on, swim at your own risk. When lifeguards sign off, swim at your own risk, Saturday and Sundays. Now, if next year, the reason I only have 4 lifeguards this year versus the 11 that I had last year is because half of these kids are college students, and they're in their either junior or senior year, so their summers are now internships, whatever.
Yeah.
So my 4 that I have now, I think I may have for a while because they're young high school kids. Okay, so my backup plan for next year is like, this is something I was going to do last year, is become a lifeguard instructor. Take the course, become a lifeguard instructor, and then I can offer the class like I wanted to do before. It'll be an extra revenue for the rec department, and then I can offer the classes, and then I can have lifeguards. And then if anything, if I don't have a lifeguard, I can adjust my schedule and my day and be at the swim area to help out if needed.
Do you have time to do that?
I'll make time.
Okay.
I'll make time.
Just want to make sure.
I'll make time. I'll make time.
busy.
And another thing I would like to do is make the swim area free. I think a lot of people don't go to it because they have to pay a fee, even though the fees are very low. I'd like to make it, and if you guys don't want to do that, that's okay.
Free for town residents?
I was just gonna say, we can do free for town residents, and then anybody else that comes in will pay a fee.
Yeah.
Where do they pay the fee?
They would see, that's where it can get a little tricky, because we don't have like right now. I spent the entire day there today because I have my little shed that Amia brought for me. So I have my computer in there. I'm working. It was a little too hot though, so I had to sit in the shade. So depending on what we decide to do, I can make myself available. You know what I mean? Or the lifeguards can do it as well. I can make myself available or train one of the lifeguards to basically, because they took passes and they took payments before. So they know how to do it. So we can just say, if it's town residents, bring your ID, show your Pittsford address, you go in for free, you're out of town, pay the fees that you have to pay. So at least we're getting a little bit of revenue. But I just think that the revenue that we receive right now for the passes doesn't really balance itself out, and I think I can increase, I can play around with other areas that we do charge in the rec to make that difference and have the swim area, because I think that if it was free, it would just be used a lot more than it is right now.
That sounds
great.
good. Yeah.
And then by my becoming a lifeguard instructor, I can continue and offer the course to have lifeguards, but then I can also be one if needed, and I think it just kind of like works itself out.
How do you try to
a little bit.
recruit the lifeguards?
So I put out ads in papers, word of mouth, Facebook, all the channels that I can, social media. It was in the Addison, it was in the Rutland, it was in the Brandon Reporter.
We did Indeed.
I was gonna say it was
And
on
we did Indeed as well. And I'm telling you, how many applications did we get in Indeed?
So Indeed, we only got 10, and not one single one looked
Qualified.
and was
No,
qualified.
not one had a lifeguard certification.
Only one had a CPR one.
Oh boy.
Not and it was a lifeguard, so it's pretty funny
Yeah.
the things that you get on Indeed.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's what I would like to do.
Okay,
And
that sounds good.
I think that adding the swim at your own risk signage is good. You know what I mean? Like I had T-ball practice this afternoon, and
has
there
to
was
be.
a little girl complaining like, "Dad, I want to go swimming," and he's like, "No, it's not open." And I'm like, "No, it is open." And she's like, "But I don't have a bathing suit." I'm like, "Take off your shoes and go walk and put your feet in the water."
So-
she was standing in there having a great time.
So does the sign say exactly what? Swim at
The
your own risk,
signs-
or no
yeah.
lifeguards? You swim.
No
your own?
lifeguards, swim area open 12 to 6, swimming at your own risk. Now, if we need more specific verbiage, I would more than want to do that, because again, the signs on the times on the signs is 12 to 6. I'd like to open it a little more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
if we
that-
want to be very specific with verbiage, I can most certainly order new signage.
Yeah, okay. That might be a good
Lifeguards aren't
idea.
present. Swim at your own risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or swim at your own risk, period. What do you
Okay.
think, Ann?
It definitely has to say swim at your own risk.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the signs. I think what we have is sufficient. We just need to change the times. You know, if we did 10 to 8 or whatever.
All right, if Ann's okay.
Especially with the weekends. The signs are compatible with what I've seen in other towns.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And really, I've looked at the budget and the revenue that we get from that for family passes even is minimal enough that I think we could, like,
We can forego.
I think that's a
it.
good suggestion.
Yeah, I think so. Just because, you know what I mean? Open gate, come in, you know, and it's just like, because it would be different if we had a full-time person down there that was selling passes, and you know what I mean, like Granbury Park or something like that, but we're not, you know, we're a small town, so I just think that open, you know what I mean, town residents free, everybody else pays, summer camps pay just because that is going to help with paying the lifeguards, right?
Yep.
And then if it gets to the point that I end up with no lifeguards, I don't foresee that happening, there is a backup plan that I can request the camps to bring their own lifeguards. Like, okay, if you want to come, absolutely, I won't charge you anything. Just bring your own lifeguard, you know what I mean? And then, but we just have to make sure that the revenue and everything kind of sets itself.
So there's not any chance of getting any kids trained between now and...
No, I do have a chance of maybe getting 1 or 2 more because one of my current lifeguards has a friend that is actually taking the training course, and I'm actually working with a couple of camps and families that want to be at the swim area but want to request and have a lifeguard, and if I can get them there, great. So I'm trying to keep everyone happy in terms of
Sounds good.
I know.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you need a motion for that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
do we need a motion to negate the pool pass requirement for Pittsford residents?
Might as
I think it's under her purview, or do we need to move on that?
Rates are, so
the budget when there's money involved. That might.
All right, I'll make-
historically,
I
the select
make a
board
motion
has
to
set the
request.
rates.
So moved.
Yeah, second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
There, we did it.
Sorry, I just
Thanks,
wanna make
Liz.
sure we're with
No,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, let's try to bang the rest of these out.
Yep.
Penalty
Yep.
letter to residents with delinquent dog licenses. Looks fine to me.
Yep, looks
Yeah.
good.
I had,
Yeah.
I
Go
had
ahead.
Gary
Thank you very
check
much.
it just to make
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
Have a
See
good
ya.
night.
I'm gonna go to
2
my
weeks.
office, so when you guys need me next, let me know.
All right, cool.
Gary did double check it.
Yeah.
He said he saw nothing wrong with
fine.
it.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Cool.
We will mail them out tomorrow.
Awesome. We should hang out in the hallway, I
Who
guess.
do they go to?
So they are going to go to everyone who has previously registered a
And
dog, who does not currently, has not this year registered their dog. There's 4 pages of residents who have not registered a dog this year
That's
that
the list you
previously
had last meeting, right?
registered.
So how many how many dogs do you think there might be in town that have never been registered? So we wouldn't be tracking them
We
at
won't
all.
be tracking them. I have talked previously to Rich, and I did talk to Sulia, that we're probably gonna have to unfortunately do a dog census and go door to door.
Haven't done that for many years.
We haven't done it, I think, since
We should do
Denise
it.
Oh,
was here.
but we used to?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the past, yeah.
Can
bet
we
it's
do
been-
that in the included in the newsletter first or anything?
So I have put dog license requirements in the last 2
Yeah,
newsletters.
who's in
People
there?
know, 'cause they've been
They
seeing
know.
it, because people have been asking me questions about.
I
if
did
they
put
have
it
to,
out
you
in
know.
Facebook land that, don't forget you were late. I did put something out there in Facebook land saying we're going to start enforcing the fines for not doing it, and we've had several people come in since to register their dogs from my little notice that I stuck out there, so I'm hoping these letters would finish that
There
out.
was a few of them that were on 2 years ago that were on last year's too, so you should just probably go back 2 years and send them all, because the fact is, I think some of them are still have the dogs, and
All right,
So,
you guys
okay,
want-
what does a dog census involve? Who does that?
Usually it's been our police officers that did it in the past.
Okay, so
all
it's
going door to
not
door.
really a cost to us then?
Well, yeah, you gotta
Well,
pay the
it's
officer.
salary.
for that.
Well, oh, okay, for their hours,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think we should work at it before we do that.
Yep, so,
Yeah, let's hold
May-
off on the dog census.
well, no,
for
but
now.
maybe what we need to do is put in that,
First.
we'll put the letter, but also in the newsletter, the fact that you know, we're becoming aware there's possibly some dogs that have never been registered, and that we are looking into doing a dog census to find these and
Get a few of them come in.
get a few of them to come in and see what we
And
get.
up the penalty.
Right,
Yep.
because
Make
we're
it
going to
hurt.
have to do it, but
Honestly,
let's see
with
if we
that, I
can.
wouldn't put it in the newsletter. I put a sheet of paper in it so people actually, when they open it up, like a white sheet,
Yeah.
so they
Separate
physically
of
see
That's
it.
fine,
Like a
wherever they
form
want to
Yeah.
put
to
it.
register their dog.
Let's
However
scare them.
works, yeah.
Okay,
What if
sounds
we,
good.
what if we, instead of doing that, why don't we do a postcard that's an everyday mailing that goes to every house in Pittsford that says, we will be doing a dog census. It's gonna cost us
I w-
less than doing it in
Far
the
less than
newsletter.
sending the guys
Whatever's
around.
the cheapest way is
That might be the first
The way to
step.
go, right?
yeah, way to go.
Whatever you think.
Who does the
How's
letter,
that?
who does the newsletter go out to?
Everybody.
It goes-
Everybody.
Yeah,
So,
who's that? The
Mailings
voting
or-
list or the
No,
green
so-
list?
No,
it's an
And
everyday direct mailing through the United States Postal Service. So it goes to every house PO box for all of Florence and all of Pittsford. Those that live, like Mr. Mills, get hand labeled and stamped newsletters to their house for the ones that have Brandon
I'm lucky.
addresses
Yeah.
that live in Pittsford. As far as I know, they're all covered. There might be a couple near the Brandon line that
Let's
don't get
just
them.
put it in and
but
see how we do.
it's as close as I can get.
Listen, I'm gonna have a heat stroke.
Yeah, let's keep
power
going.
this.
Yeah, I think the dog is.
So you had something you wanted to add?
Yes, okay, so I was approached, keep this nice and quick, here you go. I was approached by two young ladies to host for the first time ever in Pittsford. Would you like one? Okay.
All right, this was it.
The
we did
Renaissance
this, yeah.
Fair.
Okay.
This
So-
is on the agenda.
I'm sorry?
They added it to the agenda.
Oh, thank you. So it sounds really cool, okay?
Renaissance fairs.
Yes, so, and this is the first one that will be done in this area, okay? I think from an economic development portion, I think it's going to be fantastic because these type of fairs have a huge following. We'll get people from New Hampshire, Massachusetts, all over the place. So what they would like to do is they would like to host this. All the information is right here. They'd like to host it at the rec area, swim area, and baseball field on the bottom, okay? They are going to charge an admission fee of $10 for adults and $5 for children, okay? And then, as you can see, it's just going to be fairy tale king and queens type of areas, and it's going to be pretty fun. They would like to utilize, they asked me if they would use Lothrop as a backup for the parking. I said it's better to use the Vermont Police Academy. Depending if we all agree to host this, I will then make that arrangement with the police academy. It says here that they will go ahead and bring their own wagon to bring people from the academy down, and they do have the insurance policy that they need. So what I would request is, of course, to list us as additional insured and to also add the endorsement, and I can be very specific with my insurance history, so they can make sure that they add that they will cover any damages that are made.
So are they willing to post a bond ahead of time? Refundable, of course, but something.
I can ask.
I think this is going to be that big, we better have something in case there's a major cleanup that has
That's
to
why
happen.
she said.
Well, no, and
write
it's
her on
here,
the
and it's here
insurance.
too. It says, setup
Christ, I want a
cleanup.
bond.
Organizers will coordinate setup beginning Saturday, September 6th at 7 a.m. and ensure flow cleanup is completed by 4 p.m. Sunday, September 7th.
I'm just wondering if something,
Yeah.
they can get it back, as long as
Yeah.
everything's the way it should be, but I don't think it should be left for our town employees to clean up if they don't.
Oh yeah, no, but see that's the clause adding that endorsement of making sure of the damages and whatnot that covers them. Or
Yeah, but if the mess is there, even if it's on paper, then you got to do the paper
okay,
chase.
yeah, no,
I'm
that's
just
fine. Yeah.
thinking, I don't know what everyone else's feeling is on that, but a lot
Like
of,
I talked to Joe, and we were, and I talked to the people organizing it as well. I asked animals because I'm like, okay, Renaissance Fair is gonna have horses and goats of some nature, and they were like, we were thinking it, but if you don't want it, we don't do it. So basically, whatever we are willing to accept that they have, they're willing to adjust so they can utilize the
They
area.
have their
Plus, this
own
is-
insurance.
They have their own insurance
And they
policy.
should
This
be
is
able to
Colleen
add
Wright.
a bond
Absolutely,
for
yes, yes.
A few bucks for
Super
in
well
case
known
they
for
are.
putting on events. This is a Colleen
Yeah,
Wright.
this is
This
Colleen
is
Wright.
like
Yeah,
people we
she's
don't
the
know.
one that does the Brandon Carnival. She's the one that does all of that. So she knows what she's doing. It's
Decades
not.
of reputation,
Yeah.
like putting on events. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, if you're good with it, but I will.
Especially with the insurance
maybe-
piece, I'm fine.
So
with,
and I was just
I'm
gonna
more
say.
of try and see, but
If they could add a rider to their insurance policy.
They can add, and that's what the endorsement
that
would
would be
Yeah.
acceptable. Yeah,
Yep.
we do have something in there for that. My only other thing is we have to make sure this doesn't interfere with kids' sports that are going on these days.
No, because we haven't. I control the soccer schedule.
I had a feeling.
I was gonna
Kind of,
say
sort
yeah.
of. So if I had this on my calendar, I would not be hosting soccer
Just
games.
want to make sure it's not
Yeah, no,
disrupting residents
No,
to do.
no.
Okay, then I'm.
And it'll because I just gave this to you guys and you guys don't have it. It's a 2-day event. It's a Saturday, Sunday, and it's from 10 to 2. So it's only half a day. So it's not like an entire day. September. So it's September 6th and the 7th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. After 2
Is this gonna
p.m.
require any of the police force to be present?
Those people dressed up like fairies sure get rowdy.
They are
Magic dust they're using.
so they are going to have their own set of volunteers and
A sheriff?
maybe, but if we would like to require that, we can.
No, I'm
And
not
I did-
requiring. I'm just wondering if they are requiring it. I want to make sure. That
Yeah,
we're
no.
covered.
So being that I do have a lot of experience in doing a lot of these type of events, when I go back to them, I'm gonna let them know this is what you need. You need X amount of, lifeguard volunteers for this section, so on and so forth. The same way that I'm doing it because we're collaborating with the Lavender Fest here in Pittsford in July. So it's just
I guess I don't have a problem as long as the town is covered by the
Yeah,
insurance and
absolutely.
someone's going to oversee it and we make sure that
yeah.
it does get cleaned up.
Yeah, no,
We
absolutely.
could always have PD usually on patrol anyways that day. We could always have them just swing in and check things
I'm
out.
just saying if they require it,
Yeah,
then
yeah, I'll
they
ask,
have
yeah.
to pay for it.
And I did
Yeah.
tell
I'm just
them.
saying if we have
Yeah.
to.
That's all.
Yeah, and I
don't
did
have
tell
an
them
issue.
that if they want to run.
As good. We'll see how it goes.
Did you already know this at the last roundtable meeting? It doesn't conflict with any other.
You know what? Good point. Thank you, because I wasn't at that meeting. I will make sure that it
I wasn't
isn't.
either, so I can't help you. I know there's.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, it might be the same date, maybe as the Touch a Truck at Pittsford Village
Which
Farm.
wouldn't be.
That's
That
all.
wouldn't.
That
be a
wouldn't
big
be-
one. That would
right,
Just be, That
okay.
would keep people
Go
in
from one
town.
to the
while
To the
they're-
other. Okay. Yeah, that's the only
Ferris
thing.
could come up and touch a truck too. If
Listen,
yeah.
we should go. The Renaissance fairs are fun.
Yeah.
The food's
I've seen
usually
them on TV.
amazing.
Yeah. It sounds like it's the layout that they provided to me. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be good.
All
And
right.
Joe was all for it. He was like, "Oh my god!" I thought that Joe was going to. No, I don't want it. And I'm.
Yeah, no, that'll be
Let's go
cool.
for it, Yeah.
See how it goes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
Yep.
if it goes well, they would like to to go ahead and do it every year here. In
Cool,
try
that's
one.
exciting. That's exciting. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so
I don't know.
That too. Yeah.
there's always like big chicken legs because Renaissance
Turkey
fair.
leg.
What did I say? Chicken legs, turkey legs.
Turkey legs.
They do sell them?
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
They do sell them?
Usually at
Is this
Renaissance
another
fairs.
thing of the Rutland Regional, or do we already cover that?
All right.
Don't
I
think we
guess.
did.
Municipal request for Tier 1B
Can't leave us
designation.
alone, can they?
So
We just need
I
to
don't.
sign off on that. I read it, but
We can sign off on it, or we can hold off a little bit, not long, if we want
we should tie it in with this
We need to
map.
tie it
doesn't
in
it?
with the map.
Absolutely,
to.
it should be.
Also, like some of the questions, we're not quite there yet. We will be by the time that regional planning has to hand these in. So right now, we have to put that as of December 31st, we will have met this, because right now we're in the middle of redoing our town plan and everything too.
Okay.
So it's kind of like we're in limbo area.
All right. So we'll hold off on that till.
Tabling it until the next, the 11th
Gotcha.
meeting.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
At
All
least the
right.
18.
Okay. Let's
Cool.
recess and open up as liquor board and deal with the one.
Pittsburgh.
The one
Pittsburgh.
mislabeled, mistitled, whatever.
So
permit.
Helen has called and requested that they fix the typo in the name. And it's for Pittsford Village Farm for Shelburne Winery, I believe, to come down for their event. I believe it's June 19th.
Okay.
I will make a motion to approve it pending changing
Yeah, second.
the name.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and then anything on orders?
And you said it, the event's on 6/19.
I did not see
I
anything.
didn't see anything. I wasn't.
They were good.
All right, good.
Anything.
All right, you can send those down, Ann. We'll start signing.
So this, I'm gonna cross out Pittsburgh, Great Pittsford for the liquor license. And we have in the minutes that it has to say that, so that's. And I think everything else is in here.
We just sign this anywhere, right?
Yeah, sign it anywhere.
And
What's
what's
the
this Act
email? You can't
250
sign it on the
thing?
email.
So that came, I don't know if anyone cares or not. We don't really have an opinion on it at this point. It's just letting us know of changes for the bridge. It's,
Yeah, I gotta read through it.
Route 3 area had to be reconfigured in order to work to go onto
Imagine that.
the bridge area. It's something that Belden's worked all winter
Local
with
proprietor
V-Trans
looked
on.
at it down there at the gas station. Yeah. All right. That's
So it-
that's what I thought. I'll read through it.
So any changes are in like the bubbles.
Okay.
So if you just read the bubbles,
I'll
that'll
read through
give
it.
you a good indication of what's changed.
Thank you.
Because I got lost until
Well,
I saw
and I
changes
signed.
are in bubbles.
Oh, it's Pittsburgh. So.
We should have our executive outside.
To have it in my office. My office is a lot cooler.
Is it?
It was cooler.
Now we'll get through it.
We'll get through it. It'll make us move faster. Maybe.
The door open now. We should have done that a long time ago.
Well, it was hotter out earlier when the sun was out. Now
yeah.
the sun's down.
I'm excited about the Renaissance fair. What are you gonna wear?
What's that?
What are you gonna wear?
He's gonna wear tights.
Let's go naked
You're
as a
gonna be-
village idiot.
No, you cannot. We
Wait,
have an
there's an
ordinance against
ordinance
for
for
that.
Ordinance, can't do that.
Then I'm definitely not
Then
going.
I'm not going.
Gesture.
Yes, exactly.
All right, unless I've missed anything or anybody has anything else, I'll take a motion to go into executive in accordance with 1 VSA 313A, where premature general public knowledge would clearly place the municipality or person involved at a substantial disadvantage to discuss the appointment, employment, or evaluation of a public officer or employee, provided that a public body must make the final hiring or appointment decision and explain its reasons for the decision in open meeting. 1 VSA 313A3 to include the interim town manager.
And does that apply for the second one as well?
Yes.
And that will be just the board, right?
Yes.
Yes. We technically what we would do is after this executive we would.
Just want to make sure we read
And
it
you,
correctly.
But
Alicia,
we do have two executives are on
execs.
there. One with interim town manager and one without.
and you'll send me the conclusions because there
I'll
won't
remind
be-
her.
Yeah, you failed me last
I
time.
know.
Dean, would you
I know.
remind Alicia to send me the conclusions?
She doesn't answer my calls anymore.
It's okay.
You text her.
She doesn't call me anymore.
Can we just go in executive?
All right, now you
for-
let the mosquitoes in.
I know.
Did we make a motion?
No, you did.
I just made a
Two
motion.
in the last 10 seconds.
I need a second.
Fine.
Who's the
Yeah,
second?
it isn't letting that much cold air.
Dan.
Dan's
Did I
a
have a
second.
motion?
Dan's a second.
Did I have a motion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And a second.
Say aye.
Sure.